in the waiting room. I'm just letting everyone in, and then we can start in a minute.
Maybe give it a couple more minutes, because I'm sure a few late arrivals.
It's popping off. I'm just trying to. But anyone new that's joining, I would recommend turning cameras off and popping yourself on mute. We will be opening the floor to questions at the end. So any questions, maybe write them down, and then we can go through them all at the end.
Yeah. Oh, nice.
We've got some of Team South Africa actually on the call.
Yeah. Hi, Ashton.
In there.
Maybe
hey guys,
Ashton,
how are you?
Ashton, do you want to be a guest presenter?
Oh, nice.
Oh gosh, sorry, we're talking at the same time. What did you say?
Oh, did you?
So guys, if you're not presenting, just make sure you've got yourself on mute there.
Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Yeah, I'm good.
Oh, that's really good.
Maybe I'll just mute all.
Cheryl and Gemma.
If you mute all.
Yeah, really good.
The only thing, Brian, is if we mute everyone, Steve's then muted because he's outside the organisation.
Looks
So
like
guys, if you can all just make sure that you mute yourself, that would be super helpful. If you don't know how to mute yourself, they should look like a little icon of a microphone. It's next to a camera icon. If you can just click that, it'll then mute you. Also next to it, there is a camera icon. So if you don't want to be part of the presentation and have your lovely face on this screen, please feel free to turn cameras off as well. But it's great. We've got quite a few in there. Should we start, or do you want to wait one more minute?
Give it one more.
People are still joining together. Which is great news.
There's a lot of binging in the background, all right.
Yeah, I'll mute myself while.
There's lots of people wanting to learn about South Africa this morning. It's fantastic. Thank you all so much for joining us.
You're making our day.
I really wanted to see what was said about South Africa.
Yeah. No correction on the pronunciation, please.
Be kind to us, Ashton, please.
For those who don't know, we've got a TTC office down in South Africa, and a couple of our colleagues have joined the call, so they're going to keep a very close eye on us and make sure we're not giving any bad pronunciations.
To be fair, we've got even more. So we've got more local experts, because Ashton, if we don't know the questions, we're sending them your way.
Definitely swing them my way, and I'll be able to help.
Fantastic. Thank you, Ashton.
So we have over 100 people tuned in this morning. So thank you so much. We honestly appreciate your time. Lee, if you want to start, I'll just add anyone else in that's running a bit late, because it's 11:05 now. And I'll just
I'm just going to request control from you, Becky, so I can take charge for a few minutes, if that's okay.
Of course, there you go.
Excellent. So here we go. Well, thank you so much, everybody, for taking your precious time this morning and jumping on to learn all about South Africa. I'm absolutely thrilled to be here, and hopefully you can see I'm not alone. I'm joined by my colleagues. So we got Brian on the call as well. Brian looks after the TTC touring brands in Ireland. Do you want to just have a quick wave there, Brian, so everyone can see you?
Good morning from sunny Dublin.
Sunny Dublin. Great background, Brian. And we've got the lovely Becky Francis. She's the head of sales for Contiki here in the UK. And she's going to be talking to you about all things Contiki when it comes to South Africa. Do you want to just say hi, Becky?
Morning, everyone.
And last but not least, we have got the incredible Steve from South African Tourism, who is going to be our expert when it comes to all things South Africa this morning. Steve, do you want to quickly just say hi?
Whew, no pressure, Lee. Good morning, everyone. How's it?
Good morning.
Oh, love your hands, Steve. That's fantastic. Superb. So this morning, and what's this presentation about? Well, of course, it's going to be about South Africa, and that's what we're going to be talking to you about today. But as well as having Steve on board, who is our incredible expert in South Africa, we're also going to be going through our amazing brand offering in South Africa, because we have 4 incredible brands to talk to you about today. We've got amazing Becky talking to you about Contiki and 18 to 35 holidays in South Africa. Myself, Lee, I'm going to talk to you about Costsaver and our value tours about compromise in South Africa. I'm also going to delve into how we tour differently with Trafalgar. And then, incredibly, at the end, we're going to have Brian talking to you about all things luxury. So really excited to be here. And you may have noticed on the starting slide today that it said Africa 101 years in the making. You might think, what does that actually mean? I know Africa's been around for a lot longer than 101 years, but Africa for us, that's where it all started. The 4 brands that I'm talking to you about today, our parent company is the Travel Corporation. And the Travel Corporation is a family-run business which has its heart and heritage in South Africa. Now you can see our chairman on the front of this picture here with the dark glasses, looking very relaxed, very civilized in the African bush. Well, he actually grew up in South Africa. He moved to the UK in the late 1950s to start Trafalgar Tours, and he's grown the Travel Corporation into the biggest privately owned travel company in the world. So Africa is in our soul, and it's something that we care deeply about. So before we actually dive into the brands and their unique offerings in South Africa, because they all offer something slightly different, and that's the reason why we're here today, I'm going to pass you over to our expert, the lovely Steve, who can tell you about all things South Africa.
Oh, thanks so much, Lee. Well, South Africa, pretty amazing place. Looks like we've gone a couple of steps too far there. And maybe one more back. Then one more again.
It's very eager to learn, isn't it? I mean, I just want us to jump ahead and show everybody how amazing it is.
I have just requested approval if you wanted me to drive just these 2 slides here. Oh, yeah. Cool, brilliant. Thanks for that. Great. Okay, guys. So, oh wait, maybe it's not working for me. There's always technical issues, isn't there?
Always.
It's always good fun. Let me try that again. Sorry, folks. It says yes, but that's right. I might get someone else just to click across on the slide for me if that's okay. Looks like Gemma's having a good chat there again. That's perfect. Thanks so much for that. Alrighty, folks. So South Africa, the Republic of South Africa, I believe a couple of other Southern African countries are going to be spoken about today, but we're going to focus on the rainbow right at the bottom of the continent here. So thanks again for the introduction, Lee, and Becky, Brian, thanks so much for having me on the call today. As they said, my name is Steve. I work for the South African Tourism Board here in the UK. And yes, one of the most common questions I get is, I'm not South African or am I British, but don't worry about the accent too much. I've been lucky enough to spend a heck of a lot of time down in the Rainbow Nation over the past many years. So sadly, haven't been able to go down there about 12 months now due to everything going on, but can't wait to get back down again very soon. So Interesting things about South Africa. There are 11 official languages in this amazing country here. Now, what that means for your clients, though, isn't too much at all, apart from an amazing range of cultural diversity. But English is the lingua franca. It's the language of business, and it means that your clients won't have any issues communicating with anybody down there. 9 amazing provinces throughout the Republic as well. Don't worry if your clients are not going to ask you specifically what everyone is, and if they are, well, just come and have a chat to us. That's no problem at all. But we're going to focus on just a couple of those today, of course, including the itineraries that Becky, Lee and Brian will be talking about. Now, believe it or not, it's the only country that I know of anyway, with 11 official languages, and it's also the only country that I know of with 3 capital cities as well. So one of those cities is Pretoria, which is just sort of up in the northeastern corner, not right at the edge where Kruger National Park is, but just a little bit further southwest of there. You might see it on the map just there near the giraffe. Pretoria is the executive capital. So that's where President Cyril Ramaphosa sits in the Union buildings, beautiful buildings overlooking the rest of the capital city there. Then you've got the second capital city down in the mother city down in the southwestern side of the country. That is Cape Town, of course. So Cape Town is the parliamentary capital. This is where the parliament is. This is where the legislation gets made. And then you've also got, in the Free State, good old Bloemfontein, more or less in the centre of South Africa. This is the judicial capital just here. So you'll notice that I didn't mention Johannesburg. It's the largest city by far in South Africa. In fact, it's the 3rd largest on the African continent at the moment with population, but it is not one of the capital cities. It does, however, have the Constitutional Court of South Africa, which is quite important from a tourism perspective as well. You'll see that value for money is absolutely incredible as well. So just under 21 Rand to the pound as of this morning, which is just brilliant. And for anyone listening over in Ireland, that's just under 18 Rand to the euro as well. So what does that mean for your clients? It means that if you are here in London, where I live, for example, you're going to pay about £5 when the pubs eventually open back up for a pint of beer. Over there, about £2.50. It's pretty impressive, and it's a great price comparison. It's also really handy to let your clients know that although their itineraries might be jam-packed and some of their accommodation is going to be fantastic, but might make them wonder about the expenses, tell them once they hit the ground running, their day-to-day costs are pretty much nothing in comparison to what they hear in the UK. And it's a fantastic selling point as well. Just might get whoever's controlling just to drop. There's 3 aircraft that are really eager to fly in and show people where the 3 main entry points into the country are. So that lighter blue aircraft there has flown into OR Tambo Airport, which is almost in between Pretoria and Johannesburg, and it is certainly the busiest airport hub in Southern Africa. A lot of your clients will fly down to Johannesburg and then continue on to Cape Town, or they could even fly to where this lovely orange aeroplane has landed there, into Durban. Direct flights going down. Now that is out of London, of course, but for anyone in our remit of the UK and Ireland, it doesn't take too long by air to get to London, which is quite handy. 11 to 12 hours overnight flights. Those overnight flights make all the difference because there's only a 2-hour time difference at this time of year, meaning we are a long haul destination, but with quite a short haul feel. In the summertime for the UK and Ireland, it means there's only a 1-hour time difference. So jet lag, not even a thing. It's really, really good, and another fantastic selling point for that. Right, might just pop along to the next slide very quickly. It's probably important to talk about when to go to South Africa. Now, if your clients are asking you when you should go, you can tell them whenever they want to go. It doesn't really matter. It is a whenever destination, and it's something that will suit everyone at all times of year. Bearing that in mind, though, a couple of things just to remember. If we're talking the Cape, so that's Cape Town and surrounds, that climate is quite different to the rest of South Africa. It's more of a Mediterranean climate. So they've got warm, dry summers, which is brilliant. There's no humidity for the most part. So it's very, very nice and it's very enjoyable. And that's why Cape Town is such an alfresco environment there. You've got fantastic places to sit outside, to eat, drink, dine, all the good stuff. If we're talking the rest of South Africa, well, it's not so much of a Mediterranean climate. You do get a little bit more rain in the summertime and a little bit less in the wintertime. However, we're not talking about permanent pouring down rain all the time because there are areas of South Africa that are subtropical, but they're not complete tropical areas, which is quite good. And if we're talking Missing wildlife? Well, again, it doesn't matter too much, particularly if you're going on safari, like this group here was lucky enough to see an African elephant walking out through the bushes. But do bear in mind that in the wintertime, animals are a little bit more active. If you're on safari, though, going early morning and late evening means that that won't really matter too much anyway. When it comes to marine wildlife, which South Africa is very well known for as well, then there are many different times of year, but do keep in mind for the whales. Whale watching season is around about between August and November. That's when you get the highest concentration of the humpback whales breaching out of the ocean, but more of that to come a little bit later on. But I'm going to hand it over now to Becky from Contiki, who's going to run us through some pretty amazing things.
Hi everyone, I am so excited to be here today. So hopefully by the end of it, you'll understand all things that we do in South Africa. So I thought what I'd do is quickly explain where we go. So we don't just cover the South African part, but I know that's what we're going to focus on today, but we do go up into the likes of Botswana, Namibia, Zimbabwe, Zambia, Tanzania, Kenya, Uganda. And there's 4 things that I'm really going to try and highlight throughout today's itineraries. That's the travel together aspect. So we are exclusive for 18 to 35-year-olds. Yes, that does mean sadly your clients have to be between the ages of 18 to 35 to travel with us. It's all about traveling with like-minded people. To details sorted, I'm going to be showing you some photographs of accommodation, transportation, and amazing unique experiences that are really local and authentic, which is the 3rd pillar, and 4 Contiki cares, which is embedded in anything that we do. So I'm going to highlight these 4 pillars throughout the presentation today on Contiki, but I thought I would start by showing you an amazing video of our top selling trip down in South Africa, which is Cape Safari and Falls. Oh, so we don't have volume, sorry guys, but hopefully I'll just kind of explain it. As you can see, we've got game drives from Kruger National Park to exploring the likes of Table Mountain in Cape Town, which just looks epic. Any adrenaline junkies, you've got bungee jumping or swinging, or if wine's more your thing, you can taste some amazing wine in the vineyards, from sunset cruises in Chobe National Park, to general safaris just being included throughout the 2 national parks that we visit, which is Chobe and also Kruger National Park. So let's go into the stats. As you can see, and it's an 11-day trip. So it starts off in Cape Town where you've got 3 nights, and then you've got an internal included flight within the price of the trip up to Johannesburg, and then we go across to Kruger National Park for 2 nights, up to Victoria Falls, where you'll get the opportunity to see one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, and then finishing in Chobe National Park with an amazing special stay, which I've got some images to show you. So included in this, you're going to get your 4 nights in hotels, which I'm going to show you the variety of accommodation, 5 nights in African lodges, 1 night in a special stay, all included. And what Contiki really believes is that, you know, part of the experience is now the accommodation. So hopefully you'll be able to see on the next slide why we now class this as part of the experience. It's not just a bed to sleep in, it's so much more. And of course, with our demographic, the 18 to 35-year-olds, it's all about Instagram. So these are definitely Insta-worthy shots. Included as well, you'll have breakfast every day, 4 evening dinners, but things like sitting under campfires, stargazing, having amazing African food. Literally, it's definitely the continent for food. So down in South Africa, it's even better. Across with that, you'll also see there's internal flights, like I just said, and there's a variety of different safari styles, from closed vehicle to open, which we're going to elaborate on in a little while. And the group size here is 26 in our South Africa itinerary. So let's explain why your clients or yourself is going to absolutely love this itinerary. So they're unique accommodation, kicking off in Cape Town with our hotel. This is in the V&A waterfront, so it's a really cool, hip, trendy area, definitely where our travellers want to be, and it's a nice, cool, chic hotel where they'll be staying for the first 3 nights. We've also got resorts in here, so you can see this is up towards Victoria Falls where they'll be staying. So a lot of people are like, what do you do once you've done your safari, you know, during the day, on a night time? What kind of fills your day if you get back at like noon? Well, we've got some amazing resorts in there. Think swimming pools, lying around the pool, reading your book. Along with that, we've also got safari glamping. So this really is the wow factor, definitely Instagram worthy as well. This is where our travellers will be staying in Kruger National Park. So literally definitely is wow, that's the best way I can say. But things the likes of honeymooners even book onto this itinerary because it generally is incredible for the accommodation. And this is our amazing special stay. So this is in Chobe National Park. You are actually in the heart of the national park, and it is exclusive to Contiki. Although it is a tent, guys, we're well aware you do have beds inside. Okay, so you're not just sleeping on the floor. And outside you can see those little watering balls, so you'll have some fresh water every morning for when you wake up, just to refresh yourself too. So not only is the accommodation wow, the inclusions are incredible. And this is where I'm going to bring Stephen to help me bring some of them to life for you guys. So we've got 9 included experiences. We're just going to highlight a few. But not only that, with Contiki, we do offer the flexibility with the free time that they can add things on. So depending if they're adrenaline junkie or they want to have a taste of the wine of South Africa, they can do a vineyard tour. So they can also tailor this itinerary to their exact wants and needs. So some included experiences, I'm not going to elaborate on these ones, but things like the cable car to the top of Table Mountain. This is a rotating table car, which I know Steve's going to be elaborating on in a little while with Brian. To, you know, doing a walk along Victoria Falls, seeing one of the 7 natural wonders of the world, to having a Cape Town walking tour, to all your game drives included, which I'm going to elaborate on, and also something which I'm going to talk about in 1 second, which is our Contiki Cares initiative with the Pro Track anti-rhino poaching. But first of all, one thing that I think absolutely makes this itinerary stand out is the township tour, what we do just outside of Cape Town. Steve, do you want to elaborate a little bit on this one for me?
Sure. So when it comes to townships in general, I mean, they're found all around South Africa, and it's actually an arc back to the past. Of course, South Africa was a very different country to what it is today at one point in time. These townships were set up to move certain people of particular races outside of the main cities and into these concentrated areas. Of course, it's very different these days. It is nothing to do with poverty porn. It is a very amazing thing for your clients to go and visit these areas, see what the people are like there, and of course, help them out in any way you can by traveling through there, purchasing some of the goods that they've made. Lenga Township in particular, it's quite a popular place to go visit. They welcome you with open arms when it comes to townships. Soweto near Johannesburg is probably one of the more famous ones. You've also got Kailicha just outside of Cape Town as well. Lenga is actually a Xhosa word, so one of the 11 official languages of South Africa, and it means sun. It's all about the shine once you get to that township there. So township experiences are extremely important because it helps the economy of these areas. Of course, South Africa is still technically a developing country, so it's important to go. Becky?
Thank you for that, Steve. So like I mentioned briefly earlier, we do have all game drives included in the likes of Kruger National Park, which here you can see a closed-top safari vehicle, versus our Chobe National Park, which is an open-top safari vehicle. So just to give you an idea, with this itinerary, they get the best of both worlds because they'll get a safari in both styles. Not only that, probably one of the main things which I love about this, and it's the initiative, what we've got is Contiki Cares, which is part of the Tread Right Foundation, is where we take our travellers. So every single Contiki group will go to the Pro Track Anti-Poaching Training Centre to learn about and educate them really on how poaching affects South Africa still today. And I know, Steve, this is something that the tourism board's really passionate about as well, isn't it?
Absolutely. When it comes to animal interaction in general, of course, it's not something that we wish to see people doing, but this is one of those authentic experiences that you can do that's actually popping up all around South Africa. Anti-poaching is massive in Africa in general, as well as other countries around the world. You know, the illegal wildlife trade, illegal exotic animal trade is absolutely decimating a lot of the populations, and the anti-poaching just tries to rectify some of that. You'll actually see signage when you travel pretty much out of any of the major cities around. This signage will be talking about anti-poaching, and just one little tip from myself is don't expect to be able to tag your social posts, particularly when you see things like rhinos or other endangered animals that you'll be having a look at, because if you do, unfortunately, this means that poachers can work out an exact area where these animals might be and go and find them themselves. But the good thing about contributing towards anti-poaching, just like the Contiki Cares initiative just here, as well as many others, is that you're helping to train young individuals from townships that otherwise might not know much themselves about the wildlife yet that they share within this continent. So anti-poaching is a very big thing, and of course helping to support that the whole time is extremely important too.
Thank you for that, Steve. And I can see live chat is popping off. Everyone's excited. It is amazing value for money, as you can see at the top, for £1,955. So they're just some of the amazing, authentic local experiences that will be delivered, included within the price tag for the Cape Safari Falls trip. But like I mentioned briefly, we do have some free time add-ons as well, from wine tasting in Cape Town, you know, going to the vineyard, to seeing more of the southwestern part when you'll be going down to Boulders Beach, where you'll get to see the amazing South African penguins. Steve, isn't this an awesome experience?
Lordy Lord, Becky, it is one of my favorite experiences. It's not the only place in South Africa that you can see the African penguins, but they are the only species of penguin on the continent. That makes them pretty important, I guess you could say. They've taken a lot of slack over the past couple of centuries, and their population had declined a fair bit, but there's a heck of a lot of initiatives, just like the one at Boulders Beach now, to try and rectify that situation. They're also known as jackass penguins because they like to have a little bit of fun sometimes and get a little bit reckless, basically. But African penguins not only are very cute, but there's quite a high chance that your clients will see them, as they're not necessarily migratory. They're always hanging around in breeding pairs. Boulders Beach is one of those popular areas from the 1980s onwards that has these breeding pairs that have moved in. The good thing about this particular place is when you're walking around, you've got wooden boardwalks that take you to either side, which means you get up close and personal with these animals without physically touching them, which is quite important.
Thanks for that, Steve. And just to show you, it's just trying to highlight that you can pretty much tailor this experience to what you really want to get out of it. Whether you're an adrenaline junkie, you can also add on the likes of whitewater rafting down the Zambezi River when you're at Victor Falls. You can do bungee jumping, or you can even add on an amazing wildlife river cruise in Chobe National Park as well. So just to give you an idea, there's multiple things what you can add on to this trip to really tailor it. If any of your clients wanted to make it a bit longer and wanted to do more than 11 days, I'm not going to touch on them, but we also have a 15-day option, which will just take them through into Botswana, and they'll be able to tick off the Okavango Delta as well. Or we've got the huge trip, which is 21 days, so 3 weeks exploring all things Southern Africa, not South Africa, which is from £4,379, but that pretty much ticks off 4 epic countries down there. Just to quickly run through some short trip options that we have. If anyone just wants to have an extension on at Cape Town, you can add an extra 2 nights on for £135 with our amazing Cape Town Explorer as well. Or something that I absolutely love, which is one of my favourite new trips, you can learn to now be a safari guide in Kruger National Park with Contiki. 7 days, £1,189, 10 epic, fully guided game drives and walks included. You'll be staying in the national park. You'll be doing all the daily practical instructions and experiences that are really designed to mirror what a trainee safari guide would be doing for the training. So that's an epic one. And the last one we have down in South Africa is a wine, dine and zip line as well. So another great extension, what you can add on to the start of Cape Safari Falls, where you'll go down into like the Stellenbosch wine region. You'll go along to Hermanus as well, but I know you're going to find out a lot more about these regions in the next few presentations. So thanks so much for listening. That's all things Contiki down in South Africa. Any questions, you can hit me up at the end. And I'll pass over to Lee to talk about all things Costsaver.
Amazing, Becky. Absolutely amazing. I've seen lots of comments online popping up saying, I wish I was under 35. I wish I was under 35 as well. I want to go on one of these Contiki trips. They are absolutely incredible. So, but look, we've got lots of options for you today. It's not just Contiki. We're also going to be talking through Costsaver, Trafalgar and Luxembourg. I'm going to talk to you now about Costsaver and how you can go and do South Africa in a different way. Because with Costsaver, we're going to give your guests the opportunity to go on the ultimate unpackaged holiday. Now, you might think, what does that mean? Well, I have got a video to show you, and it won't have sound. It's probably a good thing, actually, because the music is quite aggressive for this time in the morning. But I'll talk through the video, and hopefully it'll give you an insight of what it's like to travel on Costsaver in South Africa. So this is Africa done your way. So you can basically go, hear the sounds, move, the taste, discover, really go out and have all the essentials included on the itineraries. but the rest is up to you, because on the Costsaver trip, it's all about what the guest wants to do locally. So what we try and do on all our itineraries is include the essentials of what you want to go and see, but then give the guest the opportunity to tailor the itinerary locally. So if everyone's got different personal tastes and interests, they can actually personalize a trip at destination to suit them. And it's a really, really popular way of traveling. It's one of our fastest growing brands within the TTC. And when we mean essentials by yours, if your guest says, okay, really like the look of this Costsaver trip to South Africa, what exactly does it mean by essentials by us? What does it mean? Well, it means things like 4- and 3-star accommodation is included. Actually, in South Africa, it's all a minimum of 4-star. We've got a great selection of meals included. It really focuses on local flavors and tastes. All the transportation's included, all the must-see sites. And then you've got the benefit of the on-ground support. So you've got the really enthusiastic, knowledgeable travel directors, local specialists in safari guides as well. And where it becomes really exciting and really fun for your guests is the opportunity to tailor that trip at destination and add in experiences that are more personal to themselves. And by setting up these itineraries in this way, the value is unbeatable. It's incredible value for money. So let's have a look at what we mean by essentials by us and what we actually include. On all our South African itineraries with Costsaver, we will include safaris. So on our one to the Western Cape, there's 3 safari drives included on these incredible open vehicles. So you really get to explore South Africa, the wildlife part, and hopefully you can go home and tick off the big 5. The accommodation is fantastic. We often get agents and guests remarking on the standard of accommodation that we use, saying, wow, we didn't really expect it to be this standard on a Costsaver product. It was fantastic. This is the Garden Route Game Lodge, one of my favorite hotels that we used on this itinerary. A 4-star property overlooking this beautiful private game reserve. You've got time to enjoy the affinity pool. It's got a beautiful spa there. And of course, we've got the included game safaris as well. In regards to must-see sites on the itinerary, these are included too. So we always include the must-see sites on the trip. My screen is just froze. There you go. So basically in Cape Town, one of the things that you've definitely got to go and enjoy is Table Mountain. And it's not just about seeing it from a distance, of course. It's about going all the way to the top via the aerial cableway. That is included within the cost of all the itineraries. And so it's actually going out and seeing Cape Town itself, really understanding the destination, really understanding where you are. So we include an orientation tour with our travel director, so you can go off and you can see and you can get a feel of the destination itself and what it brings. In terms of our itineraries, we've got a number of itineraries in Africa. I'm just going to talk to you about one today. And the one I'm really going to talk to you about is the wonders of the Western Cape, which is our 10-day tour. It starts and ends in Cape Town. It includes 4 nights in Cape Town. You can always have pre and post accommodation there, so you can always extend it. It's got 15 meals included, so that's 9 breakfasts, 1 lunch, and 5 dinners. It's got the 3 included safari vehicle drives and the garden route, and it's also got the must-see sites included as well. So, Steve, would you say this is like your quintessential garden route itinerary for South Africa?
Yeah, I would, Lee. Quite often the garden route includes Cape Town and then Hermanus along to where your guys stay at the Garden Route Game Lodge. In fact, the garden route technically starts in a place called Mossel Bay, goes all the way along to Port Elizabeth. However, for people that are looking for a fantastic 10-day itinerary, this is just perfect. Some interesting things about a couple of these areas. Obviously, we've heard a little bit about Cape Town. You've seen a couple of photos like the beautiful Bow Cup area with all those colourful buildings. Hermanus, whale watching capital of the world. Best time for you to see the whales, you might remember me saying, was between August and November. That's when you see the humpbacks breaching in the water there. It's a fascinating place. There's not specifically an actual beach. It's more of a cliff top at Hermanus. You're looking down, so you get amazing views over the ocean, which means you get amazing chances to see the whales in action. Other times of the year, though, you do have dolphins there all year round, part of the Marine Big Five, which is quite impressive. Moving along a little bit further as well, towards the east, you've got Knysna. You can see there. Knysna is the perfect place to end it before heading back to Cape Town. Knysna is part of a lagoon. You've got these fantastic heads that look out into the ocean. You've got Thiessen Island, which is just a brilliant place to sort of relax. It's very clean cut, modern. You've got the fantastic wildlife sanctuary there as well. The interesting thing about this route in general is it's all part of a floral kingdom, one of 6 floral kingdoms in the world. This one here is known as the Cape Floral Kingdom, and it's full of something called fynbos, which in Afrikaans is fine bush. And it's very, very different to other vegetation throughout the world, which makes it quite a fascinating place. Now, that might not particularly interest us specifically, but I can guarantee a lot of your clients will be very interested in that sort of stuff. So Knysna is the perfect place to finish before heading back to Cape Town.
Excellent. We've had a few questions pop up along the way when you've been speaking, Steve. Someone's asked, what's the best time of year to go and see the whales in Hermanus?
Yeah, so basically between September and November, you'll have a much higher chance there. You can go from August to December if you really like as well. I have seen whales in December before, actually going out to Robben Island, put his little flipper out and wave to us. Well, when I say little, it was probably taller than me, but yeah. So there are other opportunities, but the most concentrated time would be between August or September and then November.
Excellent. And also it's open age, so there's no restriction on age when it comes to these itineraries. If families are going to take in children, they do have to be between the age of 5 and 17. But yeah, in terms of that, it is an open age itinerary. But the way that we built these itineraries, it means that the price point is really fantastic. It starts at just £1,425 to do this incredible 10-day itinerary in the Western Cape. And where it becomes really exciting for your guests is the way that they can personalize the itinerary at destination. So we leave a whole 3-day in Cape Town, and we have a whole suite of options available for your guests. And one of the things that guests love to go and see is not just the big 5 when it comes to obviously your typical safari animals, it's the marine big 5. So it's going out with these incredible people on this amazing marine safari for the day, just off the Cape Coast. And it's going out and learning about the conservation they were doing there, learning about the different types of species you'll see on the itinerary and on this particular trip. And it also goes into Shark Alley. And now, I don't know if anyone who has seen the recent Greg Wallace TV show on South Africa. I think they have about 4 million viewers over the series. Well, he actually did this experience on that TV show, and it looked absolutely incredible. For me, I'd love to spend a day doing this, Steve. Is this something that you've done yourself personally, or is this an area that you know of?
Well, just a couple of times now, yeah. I have been lucky enough to crap my pants doing the shark cage diving as well. I tell you what, it's a phenomenal experience for anyone that wants a bit of an adrenaline rush. But on top of that, you've nailed it on the head already, Lee. I mean, this is educational. It's extremely educational to talk about the conservation of marine species, including the great white sharks. Interestingly, it doesn't mean that you'll see the great white sharks or the white pointers every time that one goes out on these marine expeditions out of Hans Bay, sometimes out of Cape Town as well. But there's certainly quite a chance that you'll see sharks in general. It's amazing. You get to learn a lot about them. And on each of these trips, you have a resident marine biologist discussing exactly what is going on in the oceans at the moment too.
Fantastic. Yeah, I think it'd be really interesting. That, for me personally, that's something I would love to do. But what we do is we leave the options open. So if you've got somebody, one of your guests who's into hiking and they want to go and do a guided walk all the way up to the top of Table Mountain, we have that as a trip enhancement priced up ready so you can offer your guests. If you have somebody that's into adrenaline, we have an electronic bike ride included, followed by a beach barbecue at the end of the day. If you've got somebody who just wants to relax and maybe go and have a few wines, well, you can go and do something like this, which is the wine tram. And rumours are, Steve, that you like a chocolate red yourself. Is that correct?
Sorry, I was just typing, replying to someone's question on the chat. What did you say?
I said there's a few rumours that when you're in South Africa that you like to go and partake in a few glasses of wine.
Oh, I don't know who's telling you about those rumors, but yeah, that's definitely true. No trip is complete without going to South Africa and trying some of the wine. On this video, of course, they're talking about the Franschhoek wine tram. So the winelands encompasses a heck of a lot more than just Franschhoek and Stellenbosch as well. They're probably the most well-known of the areas, but the wine tram, I'll tell you, what a unique and amazing experience. Of course, it means that no one has to drink drive, which is very important, but you get picked up outside of your accommodation and taken along a number of different routes. And it's hop on, hop off. That's the best thing about it. So your clients will be able to jump on when they like. They'll have an itinerary with them, and they'll actually know when, or I should say a timetable, sorry, when to jump back on. So they know the best places to go to get their nice crispy white Shannon Blancs or the delicious, beautiful, heavy red Pinotages. You'll see, I think it's frozen, but the wine tram there is on 4 wheels. That's because there's a couple of different routes. There is an actual tram that takes you along an old railway line, but there all are also a number of trams that take you out that are actually just trucks dressed up. But again, similar sort of experience. As you hop on from Drakenstein, which is usually the start of the actual wine tram, you will have the chance to try some wine on board before you get off and enjoy the rest of your day, possibly not remember it depending on how much you've had to drink as well.
Amazing, absolutely incredible. I would absolutely love to do that experience. So there's too much choice. I think that's a problem, really. There's too much to choose from. And it goes on this itinerary, like we said before, we include obviously the trip up to Tabletop Mountain. That's included. Also the orientation tour and also the safaris as well. But when we come to Amarness, you can choose other experiences. You can actually spend the day going out into Walker Bay and doing some sea kayaking. So that's another one of the experiences we like to include for our guests on this itinerary. And again, it's something that I think would be a really enjoyable experience to do. And you said before, Steve, it's quite a remarkable area, isn't it? It's very coastal in this region.
It is indeed. Absolutely. Yeah. I spoke about it previously, but it's a fantastic place to go. The water's a little bit cooler at this time of year, but if you're a local Sapper, that does not matter. You'll be swimming anyway.
Excellent. And if that's not your thing, you can always go to have a wine tasting experience at Butchart Finlayson. So basically, when it comes to Costsaver, what we do is when you look at the itineraries online, it's quite clear when you see what is included. It will say must-see experiences, and you can go through and tell your guests, this is definitely what's included within the cost of the tour. Then on the website, we actually give you options and where your guests can enhance the itinerary to just personalize it. And you can give your guests the idea what they are on the website, and even gives you price in local currency as well. So if you want guests that want a flexible option when it comes to South Africa and they want to see the must-see sites, but they want to personalize it themselves, well, Costsaver is the one for them. Now, I'm going to move on quite swiftly because I don't want to take away much time for the lovely Brian at the end, talking all about luxury gold. But we do also have an option with Trafalgar. Now, Trafalgar is a more elevated experience when it comes to guided holidays in South Africa, and we do itineraries all over Africa. But when it comes to South Africa, there's 3 itineraries that are main itineraries, our main go-to. It's the best of South Africa, which I'm going to be talking to you about today. Cape Town Explorer, which focuses on Cape Town and the Garden Route area, and then the Essence of South Africa, which is quite similar to the Contiki one Becky talked about earlier, that takes in Big Falls as well. But with Trafalgar, some of the differences that you'll get is it's a smaller group. So a maximum of 20 guests on these itineraries. And what that means for your guests is it means it's a more personal experience. They get to spend more time with their cultural concierge. Their cultural concierge, travel director on the trip, will get to know the guests on an individual level and be able to personalize the itinerary because it's a matched group size of 20 guests. And also it means that we are quite open to choosing some remarkable accommodation. This is the best safari lodge in the Trafalgar private game reserve that we actually reserve for our guests. And it's like staying in your own private lodge because it only has a maximum of 10 suites. So when Trafalgar guests arrive, we have this incredible place all to ourselves. And it means a really top quality, intimate way to go out, enjoy South Africa, enjoy the incredible safaris that have to offer there. But with Trafalgar, it's not all about the incredible accommodation. It's not all about the smaller groups. It's really about diving under the skin of the destination and connecting your guests with the real local people of that each destination, and really finding out the stories, the background of what makes that destination unique. And in this is an amazing experience that we do, where we meet this lovely lady called Ella. Now, Ella had a troubled upbringing, unfortunately, where she was involved in domestic abuse. She didn't let that hold her back. And she set up a not-for-profit organisation where she built these shelters, these refuges in and around the town that she lives, that look after women and children that unfortunately have had similar circumstances to her. So what we do is we have a walking tour with Ella through the township, learn about her life. It's an inspiring story. And the money that obviously we pay for that experience goes into an organisation where she keeps charity flourishing and looking after the local women and children in the area. And it's what we call with Trafalgar a Be My Guest, because we also have dinner with Ella and we try local food and local cuisine. And it's a real great insight into South Africa and some of the amazing stories there. In regards to the food, it's varied. We have breakfast every day. There's about 60% of the other meals included. And it will be from fine dining restaurants to real rustic table dinners to the Be My Guest dinner. So there's a real range of included dining included for your guests on the itineraries themselves. And in terms of the itineraries that we're going to be looking at today, it's just one I'm going to focus on because this is really unique. It's called the Best of South Africa. It's a 15-day trip that starts in Johannesburg, and look at the length and the span of the itinerary and what it covers. It really does tick all the boxes when it comes to a South Africa trip. And I'm going to pass to Steve now because Joburg, sometimes the reputation, it's not looked at as the go-to place, is it, in South Africa? But you think differently. You think Joburg's got a lot of amazing things going for it. But can you just tell our agents today some of the reasons why?
Absolutely. So funnily enough, this is probably the most common place that I travel to when I head to South Africa. Our head office is actually based in one of the suburbs there. So I've had the unique opportunity to really get to know Josie quite well. Joburg, Josie, Johannesburg, whatever you want to call it. And I'll tell you what, from what I understand, it's come a heck of a long way in the last 10 to 15 years. So we're trying to get rid of those sort of misconceptions about Johannesburg, and your clients will have the opportunity to experience a side of Josie that they probably didn't know existed. You can think about some really cool places where you've got the nice coffee, the proper curio shops, which is a souvenir shop in South Africa. And I'm talking proper souvenirs made by the locals and contributing to the local economy as well. One of my favorite precincts would be Marboneng. Marboneng, for anyone that knows London, for example, is very similar to East London with that sort of up and coming hipster culture, people with beards and glasses. Going and drinking beer or having a flat white that's been made with locally roasted coffees. And sounds a little bit silly, I know, but it's a really, really nice place. It's also safe. You can sit out there and just have a few drinks with your mates. You can have a chat. You can taste the fantastic food. That's just one of the areas. Johannesburg Day Tour that would be included. You can go off and visit the Constitutional Hill. I mentioned the Constitutional Court of South Africa. It's a former political prison, so you'll learn a little bit about that. The Apartheid Museum, which is probably quite self-explanatory. And Joburg's a really good place to base yourself when you're heading out to other areas as well. But trust me, there's so much more to do. And it's way more than just a stopover in Johannesburg.
That's fantastic. Well, I've learned so much already from you today, Steve, which is great to know. And it's not just Joburg, of course, that we go to on this itinerary. I'm just going to go to the next slides now, but we're having it's just sticking a little bit, so hopefully it will move on. We do have some remarkable places to stay as well, and this is a hotel. It's very, very close to our heart within the TTC, because if you go back to that slide at the beginning where you saw that gentleman with the dark glasses on, well, that was his wife next to him. Her name is Bertrude Tolman. She's part of the TTC story as well, and Mr. Tolman, our chairman, took his girlfriend then at the time on their first date to this beautiful hotel, the Oyster Box Hotel, just outside of Durban. He said to her one day, "I will buy this hotel for you." You know, most guys maybe offer their girlfriend at the time a drink, But no, he went that extra mile. So I'm going to buy this hotel for you, and rightly so he did. It's now part of our family. It's owned by ourselves, the Red Carnation Hotel Group, and it's an example of some of the remarkable places that we stay at on this actual journey itself. So just to go through some of the other slides, obviously we go to Shushlui as well, and we have the amazing experiences there in the national park. But we also go to relax on Africa's wild coast. And I think I'm going to end here before I go on, just end on Trafalgar. I'm going to ask Steve to come in one last time and just talk about this, because to me, when I looked at this, it looked a little bit like Southern England. It looked like the Cornwall coast. It's not what I expected, to be honest, Steve.
You know what? The Rainbow Nation is a Rainbow Nation, not just because of its welcoming people from all different backgrounds, but because of the varying landscape as well. The Wild Coast is one of those more untouched areas of South Africa. Anywhere between Port Elizabeth and Durban, that is more or less the Wild Coast. You've got rugged coastline, you've got less traveled paths and routes as well. The one thing that I love about the Wild Coast, if you're there at the right time of year, which is about September, because it's wild, and that is why it's got the name. Obviously, you've got a lot of amazing sea life through their marine wildlife, but you've got something called the sardine run, which is probably worth noting as well. And you're probably wondering what that means. Are you going to run with sardines? Or no, it's nothing like that. The sardine run actually is the migration of massive, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of sardines all clumped together moving up the coast. It's so big that you can actually see it from space, which means you have the opportunity, you'll have the chance to actually see it from the views of your Trafalgar coach as you're driving along as well. It's a pretty spectacular thing. Of course, that means that a lot of other wildlife tends to hang around to feast on the sardines as well. Apart from that, though, you just find out how warm and welcoming the people are of this area. You're also passing through two different cultural areas. So the Eastern Cape is distinctly Xhosa in culture, and then you're heading up to Durban, which is very, very Zulu in culture. Durban's probably one of my favorite cities in South Africa. As a wee young Aussie tyke, it was the first place I got to go to as well. So it's got a special place in my heart.
Excellent. And also, I'd like to end by saying on all the Trafalgar itineraries, and this will be the same on the Luxury Gold itineraries as well, in the UK, we do include VIP door-to-door transfers as well. So the price that you see for that actual itinerary in the brochure or online includes a door-to-door transfer. It's a private vehicle. It collects guests from their home, takes them to the airport in the UK, and we will be waiting to take them back home after their trip of a lifetime as well. So it's been an absolute pleasure speaking to you all this morning. I'm going to pass over now to the lovely Brian, and he's going to tell you all about Luxury Gold in South Africa, and it really is a special itinerary we're going to be talking about. So please stay on the line and listen to Brian. Thank you so much. Are you there, Brian? Can we hear you?
Brian, you're muted, I think.
Okay, can you hear me, guys?
We can hear you.
Apologies, the gremlins are not working today. Fantastic, thank you. So I'll just request control there again.
Yeah, and then I'll add it. Yeah,
lovely.
There you go, Brian.
Great job. So the picture behind me, guys, I'll just jump straight into it. Thank you so much. The interaction's been amazing. The comments there, we've had people stay down in the oyster box. We've had people being in South Africa. It's a great country to visit. I myself have been a couple of times. I really love it. While when I was a travel agent, I used to send lots of people down there. I just think it's such a great destination. Picture behind me is not sunny Dublin today, unfortunately. This is the 12 Apostles in South Africa, just at the back of Table Mountain. So I'll come back to that photograph in a minute because it is relevant to the itinerary that we have today. And I'm going to speak to you about luxury. We've been in a COVID world for the last year. You know, people really want to treat themselves, and we've got an amazing product, an amazing luxury guided journey down in South Africa, which I'm going to get a little bit more detail about. But Luxury Gold is for our 5-star clients, as it says here. Reach for gold for your luxury clients. Perfect guided holiday. And essentially, that's what it is. It is at the higher end of the market. It's the 5-star end of the market. But as I said, people have been cooped up for the last year, maybe year and a half, and it could be even 2 years before they go on holiday and vacation, and they will want something as a treat, and this is a perfect product in a perfect location as well. So hopefully I can move the slide on here. Is that moving on for you guys?
Not as of yet, but there might just be a bit of a delay.
No problem at all. Well, what I'll do is I'll just kind of go into it. So essentially, luxury gold, if Becky maybe can move on to the next slide or leave from me there. Luxury gold is the brainchild of our chairman and founder, Mr. Stanley Coleman. And essentially, this is putting together an amazing trip. We've got trips throughout the world, luxury guided journeys. And essentially, the pillars, as Becky was talking about, the pillars of Contiki, the pillars of luxury gold is small group travel, magnificent hotels, unique VIP experiences, and exceptional dining. There's an amazing picture of Stanley and Beatrice, and again, South Africa is has such big connotations with the travel corporation that it's really at the heart of everything we do. So there's a fantastic quote from Mr. Tolman. What does luxury mean to us? Well, Mr. Tolman, we believe that the greatest journeys in life blend carefully planned activities with unexpected discoveries, and we created Luxury Gold to do that. So it's especially, shaped by Mr. Tolman. And again, for South Africa, I love the itinerary. It's a very simplistic itinerary. And if we can go on to the next slide, we won't go through the video today as we're having a few technical issues on that one. But in general, as I said, one of the pillars of Luxury Gold, and again, is the hotels. We go for magnificent hotels. You can see the red carnation logo there. We're going to touch on that in a few moments as well, but we try use, where possible, our red carnation hotels, which, as Lee said, is part of the TTC portfolio. But again, depending on what part of the world it is, when we're over in Canada, we'd go to the Fairmont, Lake Louise, or we'd be in a nature reserve. So again, exceptional hotels is a core pillar of Luxury Gold. Next slide, please. As I said, another pillar is the VIP experiences. I'm going to give you a few of our VIP experiences that we have, in particular South Africa, but just as an overview, it's, what is it? Exploring landmarks without the crowds, as it says here, meeting fascinating locals, and then meeting legendary locals with our chairman's collection as well. So you can see there, from Graceland to after hours at the Temple of Luxor, we really offer that luxury experience in a small group numbers for our clients. And again, listen, it's been tough it's been a tough year. This is something that's really resonating on the market. We can see these bucket list trips. As much as I want to go be 18 to 35 and do a Contiki, I'm well too old for that one. I'm really looking for that, myself, my luxury experience. So there's lots of people out there really looking for that luxury. And South Africa, as I said, what a great destination. And this particular trip that I'm going to talk to you about is perfectly balanced as well. Move on to the next slide. So before I get to the itinerary, again, dining is very much at the heart of Luxury Gold. Everything from Michelin star experiences, but it's not just that. It's down to amazing cooking demonstration, farm to table experiences. It could be street food experiences as well. Kind of covers absolutely everything. So it's not just the kind of, the high end on Michelin star. It's absolutely everything, and it gives you a great feel for the destination as well. So next slide, please. Well, one of the unique features we have with Luxury Gold is that we have a traveling concierge traveling with them. So the concierge, his job is to really shape and tailor and personalize the client's experience. So, think about someone traveling, you're the best concierge you had at a 5-star hotel, coming with you on your vacation, on your holiday, being able to, open doors for you, be able to organize your private, the time that you have nothing planned. They're absolutely there just, again, to tailor and shape the whole experience. So as it says there, if you were going on a journey and you had a choice of taking a friend who knows the language, the culture, the history, the context of all the wonderful things to try, wouldn't you bring them along? And that's the nature of the traveling concierge that essentially goes with all of our Luxury Gold trips as well. So it's there to maximize the experiences that we have, but also free time, shape mold, personalize, and tailor that experience to give that luxury experience throughout. If you can move on to the next slide, it'd be great. Meet our guests. Again, you know, it is a luxury. It is aimed at the higher end of the market, but these are just, you know, people that are out there. Maybe it's a 50th wedding anniversary. Maybe it's a bucket list trip. Maybe it's a post-COVID trip and people just want to get out there and have a luxurious trip because they haven't gone on holiday in 2 years. So it really is a case of just, you know, recommending this product to the right client. It is a slightly older demographic. It's certainly not the 18 to 35 of Contiki. It's people a more mature age group who might have the money, or again who want to splash out and have that special occasion, really be looked after by our traveling concierge and the amazing experiences we can have with Luxury Gold. This is the trip I want to really flesh out. We only have one trip, one amazing journey, luxury journey that's just in South Africa. We do have an add-on up to Victoria Falls, but I just want to really get into this itinerary here. With this trip, what I love about it is the simplicity of it. It's 2 locations, Cape Town and up to Kruger National Park. So I think this would appeal to maybe if you have a luxury cruise clients who really love just unpacking once and, you know, having that experience. I know we unpacked twice in this scenario, but it's very leisurely. Cape Town, we have just a great base to then explore Cape Town. Again, maybe I would say for this one, we only have a maximum of 16 people, small luxury groups. It's 8 nights. So as Steve said, it's, you know, overnight flight there and back. So in a kind of a 10-night itinerary for people that maybe haven't got too much time, this is absolutely amazing. So in Cape Town itself, we base ourselves in a beautiful hotel I'm going to show you now. Within those days, we've got 4 days where we go off, do some touring, do some amazing experiences, eat some amazing food, drink some wine, as Steve said. It's absolutely beautiful. I've been down that neck of the woods myself, and it's just absolutely great location. Then we go up to Kruger National Park and stay in one of the most spectacular lodges in the national park. Beautiful lodge, which I'll show as well. But again, the simplicity of this is what I really like about it. It's very relaxed. It's very luxurious. Next slide, guys. So when we're in Cape Town, we stay out in about 10 minutes from Camps Bay, which is kind of a luxury beach area of Cape Town. Steve, clients that are going to South Africa that want to go out to Camps Bay, what would they expect what kind of experiences and what kind of facilities do they have out there?
It's just a different sort of vibe to the city centre, but the good thing about Camps Bay is that it's only a 15-minute drive, if that, from the city centre of Cape Town as well. So fantastic shops, cafes, restaurants. You've got a fantastic promenade that goes all the way along. So, you know, those beachside views, particularly if you're at one of the cafes or restaurants that sits opposite the beach, you know, you're just in heaven. It's absolutely amazing. Don't forget about some of those other amazing places that are just 1 or 2 streets back, though. You'll always find a hidden gem. I think my favourite thing about Camps Bay is not just the vibe of everything that's happening there regarding the hospitality, but just looking around. So in this slide, you can see in the bottom right-hand corner here, this particular photo isn't taken specifically in Camps Bay, but it's looking towards Camps Bay. And in the background, that's the 12 Apostles there. And I'm sure you'll talk about a hotel with the same name very shortly, Brian. But
absolutely.
The sunsetting on the 12 Apostles is absolutely phenomenal. But the good thing is you can see some slight color changes on that, and you can turn straight around. There's a brilliant car park sitting on a white sandy beach, and you can watch the sun setting from there. I reckon that's probably one of my favorite things to do when I'm at Camps Bay.
Yeah, but we stayed 5 nights in the 12 Apostles there, Steve. It's just an absolutely beautiful hotel. It is part of the Red Carnation Group, which is fantastic. As I said, we've got 20 hotels worldwide. We've got 3 in South Africa. Obviously, Lee mentioned the Oyster Box in Durban. We've got the 12 Apostles, and we've got Bushman's Kloof, which is north of Cape Town, and we've got an amazing new hotel in Botswana as well. But I'm just looking at a couple of the comments there as well. It's a perfect, you know, a perfect base itinerary, a perfect base journey for people to add stuff on as well, where, you know, they might want to go off and just have a bit of time to themselves as well. So it's a great itinerary for that one as well. The hotel itself only has 70 rooms. All of our, you know, Red Carnation hotels are boutique hotels. They're very unique. They're very small and intimate. For those of you who know Uniworld boutique river cruise, the same people who decorate the hotels and design the hotels design our ship. So within the Travel Corporation, we have that synergy across all of our brands as well. But as I said, we've got an award-winning spa there, beautiful restaurant, which I'll touch on in a moment. A couple of restaurants there as well. But again, just stunning location and a great place, a great base to spend, you know, your 5 nights there. Activities that we have included, but if you have a bit of, there will be free time because they're perfectly balanced. I love Camps Bay. It's kind of felt like that real kind of summery, kind of beachy kind of feel. It has bags to offer, and as Steve said, 15 minutes from downtown down to the B&A waterfront would be fantastic as well. Move on to the next slide there, guys. So food, luxury gold, as I said, beautiful hotels, exceptional dining. On our first day, when we arrived there, transfer to the hotel for our base for the 5 nights, and we have a beautiful welcome dinner at the Azure restaurant, which is an award-winning, beautiful views overlooking the ocean there. And in the background, as you said, the beautiful 12 Apostles, where we get the name from the itinerary. But again, great way to start, very, very relaxed. Come in from the UK or Ireland, get picked up to the hotel. You're there for 5 nights, and then you have your welcome dinner there. So, you know, it's just the simplicity, the luxuriance of it. It's just a very simple, perfectly balanced journey. And again, that look, it just kind of screams luxury. Next slide, guys. So one of the days, the itineraries we have, we take in all the stuff that the guys mentioned, the penguins, and we do the Cape Peninsula. But we do it in a little bit of style. When we come back in from our journey, rather than going back to the hotel, we stop off and have lunch in Kelk Bay. The photograph to the right-hand side, no copyright on that. That's my own photograph. I was lucky enough to go to the Harbour House, stunning restaurant overlooking the bay there, looking into False Bay. What a great way of finishing off your sightseeing for the day. And again, it's all about the food, quality, and the perfect locations as well. Next slide. So one of the other days, as we go through the itinerary, the 5 nights that we have there, we go out and do the winelands. Absolutely. On our day out, before we get to Franschhoek, we go to the Vergelegen estate, which is a beautiful estate. And to make it that kind of luxury gold experience, we have a private wine tasting. We have that there with the winemaker, the local winemaker, the estate winemaker in a private cellar. So we have a bit of wine testing there, get the elf juices flowing, get the hunger off, and then we head off to Franschhoek, which is the next slide. Steve, just in relation to Franschhoek and Stellenbosch, you know, what would you say the differences are between the two towns?
Look, you've definitely got wine in both of those places. You've also got a lot of history there, both of these places dating back from the 1600s. Fun fact about South Africa in general is you've got the oldest vines in the Southern Hemisphere. So they really do know their stuff. If you go to Stellenbosch, it is also a university town. So for anyone that's got clients that might be interested in Contiki, it's going to be a fantastic place for them.
Good fun as well.
Saturday night. Very good fun. Very good fun. But for anyone, particularly obviously your luxury gold customers that want something a little bit more relaxed and boutique, then that is Franschhoek. Franschhoek is just a little bit smaller. It's the one main street going down with the accommodation on each side, as well as beautiful shops, cafes, restaurants, the tram line, of course, and vineyards surrounding the actual town itself. Stellenbosch is absolutely a must-see still, but it is a little bit larger, a little bit less boutique-y in.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why we go to somewhere like the Boshendale Wine Estate, which is, I believe, one of the oldest farms in South Africa. So again, the old grapes, old wine, and that one. We go there after we get there. We have a beautiful farm to table lunch in the award-winning restaurant there. What a great way to finish off the afternoon. Beautiful food, beautiful wine, and just a stunning experience. When we finish that, we go back to the hotel, but we drive back in vintage cars. So we do it in style as we do on Luxury Gold as well. So beautiful way to finish off that day. Next slide, guys. We've got some great comments coming in there. The people we're loving the Boshendale wine. Absolutely, go to the source, guys, and get your clients to go to Luxury Gold. Thank you so much for bearing with us. I know we're probably a few minutes over, but we're not too far off there as well. Luxury Gold, as I said, all about experiences. Steve, we haven't touched too much on, but these are two of the iconic trips, day trips that people do when they get down to Cape Town. I've done them myself, which is Table Mountain and Robben Island.
Absolutely, Brian. These really are iconic experiences and icons within themselves as well. So when we're talking Table Mountain, one of the new 7 natural wonders of the world, and you can certainly see why that would be the case. The good thing for your clients is it's only a 10-minute trip up to the top in a cable car. It is closed down normally for a week during the winter months. So do just keep that in mind and always check whatever GDS system that you use. But once you're up the top, fantastic views, panoramic all the way around. There's disabled access. There's a pub up there. When I say a pub, I mean it's a cafe that serves amazing beer with a view, obviously, very important. It's about a 30 to 40-minute walk as you go around, but there are longer walks available, and people can walk up to the top if they wish as well. It takes a couple of hours, but
which I've done myself.
Absolutely, you lucky man, I have too.
Yeah.
But obviously the more popular way of doing it is getting up in the cable car, which is about 10 minutes. And I think Becky alluded to it back at the start when she was talking about Contiki, but the cable car actually rotates as well. So it just means if there's quite a large group in there, everyone essentially, theoretically, gets the same view of Cape Town as they're going up to the top and as they're going down. And then Robben Island just here, I mean, it has so much history. It's absolutely steeped in political history. We haven't actually mentioned Madiba, the chief yet, Nelson Mandela, who really sort of epitomizes what we think of as the Rainbow Nation to this day. Of course, during apartheid times in South Africa, he spent almost 30 years behind bars just because of his beliefs on racial segregation. Almost 20 of those years was spent on Robben Island. It was, in fact, a political prison. It's about a half-an-hour boat ride. My little tip for your clients as well is they obviously won't need to bring their passports to too many places. Once they are in South Africa, best to live in the lock-up at the hotel, but they are always asked to bring their passport along to show it for safety reasons, just to make sure they've got the same amount of people going in as they do coming out of the island every day.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Once you get there, your clients are actually shown around the island in general, and then the most amazing bit, 9 times out of 10, you'll actually be shown around by one of the ex-prison inmates, political prisoners, of course, but you're getting the story straight from the horse's mouth, which makes a big difference. And I believe there's another sort of experience like that, Brian.
Well, I think just building on from that in Luxury Gold is it's how we give the experience and how we elevate it. We go to Robben Island, and when we come back from Robben Island, we meet one of those prison officers who was there with Mandela, and we have lunch with him back at the Amy Foundation, which is an amazing foundation. It's a non-profit organization that has these programs that help young people, and amazing lunch with the prison guard, giving you all those in-depth stories. And then after lunch, we go out to one of the townships locally that the Amy Foundation helps. So you see firsthand, the work they do in the local community. So absolutely amazing. Again, with Luxury Gold, we elevate the experience all the time. The Table Mountain, when we go up there and we do it in style. We get to the top and we have a private champagne reception. So we elevate that experience again, which is amazing. Just move on to the next slide, guys. Finishing off in Luxury Gold, as I said, we've got 5 amazing nights. A bit of, if you can just everyone go on mute there, guys, it'd be great. We've got 5 amazing nights in Cape Town. There's a little bit of, yeah, that's fine now. 5 amazing nights in Cape Town, and then we fly up to Kruger National Park, stay at a luxurious, beautiful lion sand, one of the top lodges, private game lodge, up in Kruger National Park. Steve, do you want to maybe just elaborate the difference between national parks and private game reserves?
Absolutely. I think, Becky, you've got your microphone off. Would you mind just turning it on? There's a bit of feedback there. Thanks for that. So yeah, absolutely. So when it comes to national parks, gosh, Kruger National Park is probably the most famous national park outside of South Africa to the world. That's what you think of when you think of safari in Southern Africa in general, if you ask me. It's huge. Let's put that into perspective for your clients. It's about the same size as Wales here in the United Kingdom, so about 8,000 square miles, about 22,000 square kilometers. It borders not just South Africa, but a number of Southern African countries as well, and goes across 2 provinces within South Africa. So it is huge. When we're talking about the difference between national parks and private game reserves, and we do have a lot of people wondering that, it's nice and simple. All you need to remember is with a national park, for the most part, if your clients are heading through there, whether it be on a tour with Luxury Gold or something else, they will go through. There is an entry ticket of some sort that they'll either need to purchase or might be included, but there is an entry ticket required. They always must stick to the marked and gazetted paths, and there'll be one of a number of different vehicles, obviously watching the same thing. And when I say thing, I mean, you know, perhaps a pack of lions or a leopard or elephants or whatever it might be that they actually see out in the distance. Maybe some Cape buffalo, like I am obviously on safari. I'm definitely not in my share house in West London in my flat right now. I'm definitely on safari. So yeah, so many opportunities within a national park. Now you've got that, and then you've got private game reserves. And I think that's definitely what your brand does quite well, Brian. So a private game reserve means that it's just a little bit more intimate. These areas are much smaller. They're owned privately, so the rules do differ from place to place when it comes to age requirements, all that sort of stuff. But there's a higher chance that you will see the big five, but please never go and recommend or guarantee, sorry, your clients will see the big five. But the longer they stay somewhere, obviously, the higher the chance that they'll actually see it too, which is quite handy.
Fantastic.
So a little bit smaller. Wildlife is obviously more concentrated around there. And on safari in a national, in a private game reserve, you are waited on hands and foot. Your clients put their backs into taking it easy, basically.
And that's what you can see from the pictures here of the Lion Sands. It's all about luxury. It's all about that big five game experience. I've done a safari myself, you know, early mornings, relaxing, coming back and having a glass of champagne, beautiful food, you know, really intimate setting. This definitely is one of the top private game reserves in the whole of Kruger National Park. And that's how we end our trip. We do 3 nights there, lovely and relaxing. We then go to Johannesburg Airport. So for our itinerary, it's into Cape Town, it's out of Joburg, and it's a 12-hour flight back to London. And for our Irish guests, maybe then back onto Dublin or back onto Cork. But what an amazing experience. And as I said, Luxury Gold really is for that kind of luxury client. And that comes to the end of my Luxury Gold presentation. Thank you guys for bearing with us. I know we're running a little bit over, but we seem to be getting lots of engagement as well. So back to Lee, please.
Yeah, absolutely incredible, Brian. I'm torn between Contiki and Luxury Gold. I know I'm too old. I know. I need to wake up really. But no, I hope I again invite all the presenters to come on now, and we just want to say a massive thank you so much for everybody that's taken the time to come on today's presentation. There's been lots of questions that have been coming through. We'll try our best to answer them, and we're going to open it out just to see if anyone's got any questions. But before we do, please have a look on there. You've got the contact details of all of us there, so please take a note of our contact details. So you've got myself, Brian, Becky, and also Steve. So it might be something today that wasn't shown and you need more information about, then please don't hesitate to contact Steve or myself or Becky or Brian. We're also going to be following up with some marketing collateral for you. So we're going to highlight some of these top selling trips on social slides that you can utilize. And before we end, we're going to we just see, Becky, if anyone's got any questions?
So I brought some down that have come through on chat. So I thought I'll just take it out with the presenters. Some of them I can obviously answer because it's Contiki related, but keep popping them in the chat if you want, guys. So the first one was, and I think, Steve, you answered it in the chat, but in case anyone missed it, is when's the best time to see the whales in Hermanus?
So best time to see the whales in Hermanus, any time between August and November.
Perfect. Another question that come through was, is Contiki restricted to 18 to 35-year-olds? Yes, the travellers definitely have to be between the ages of 18 to 35 to do the main Contiki trip. For the Learn to Be Safari Guide, just to let you know, we've got a wildlife photography one and the zip line in South Africa. That is open age, just to let you know. So the 3 smaller trips you can book on at an open age, just to let you know. And the other one that come through was, is the wine tram only for adults?
So the wine on the tram is only for adults, that's for sure. But no, children are absolutely allowed to join throughout the day as well. No problem at all.
Perfect. And Steve, I think this one will be another one for you. When is the best time for the sardine run?
Best time, I actually said when I was talking in September, but that's incorrect. It's between May and July, so the winter time in South Africa. That's the best time for the sardine run, and it is absolutely spectacular.
Perfect. A lot of people have come through asking if international flights are included in the cost. On behalf of, I'll answer this for TTC if everyone's okay with that. You would have to add the international flights on to the itineraries. However, we can do that from reservations for you. So we can package it with flights. All you would need to do when you go through to our reservation team is say you'd like a quote for the flights and they'll put it all together for you. So we can definitely do it, but the prices that were advertised is just for the land portion of the trip only.
Just on that, Becky, there's a few questions in relation to people missing the start. We have recorded this, and
yes,
we will be putting it up on our agent hub as well and distributing it. So don't worry if you came in late.
And
I couldn't get the messaging either.
Oh, sorry, what did you say?
I couldn't get the messaging thing. Wouldn't come up in my thing.
Oh, well, we're going to open it anyway. I'll read through all the messages we've got so far, and then any other questions you can pop up off mute and you can ask any.
See the you thing where you do teach to be a safari in the Contiki trip. Is it 18 to 35?
That one's open aged. Just to let you know. So yeah, we've basically brought out a new product line called Detour, which is mini adventures by Contiki, and the majority of them are open age trips. But you can always check in with our reservation team or with me directly, and I can definitely point you in the right direction. No worries. Another one was, if anyone knows this question, with the Apostles Hotel, do they still have jazz on a Sunday? Does anyone know?
So I did actually have a little bit of a look because I saw that and nothing seems to be coming up. So they do jazz events throughout Cape Town. In fact, there's a jazz festival there every year, but I couldn't see anything specific for Jazz Sundays at the 12 Apostles Hotel.
Thanks for that, Steve. Another one came through, and this was for Steve for the tourist board. Can you spell, this is a spelling bee now, the two places that you mentioned that are more boutique and the larger town, please? I think that was reverting to the wine regions, perhaps in South. Yeah. Correct. Yes, absolutely. So if everyone's ready, I'll get my travel agent phonetic alphabet on, just like the old days. When I used to work for the Travel Corporation, that's how I started. So Stellenbosch was the first place we mentioned. It's Sierra, Tango, Echo, Lima, Lima, Echo, November, Bravo, Oscar, Sierra, Charlie, Hotel.
Yeah, well done.
Well done.
So I was like, glad
never forget it. Never forget it.
No, it's like a bike, isn't it? And then Franschhoek, which in Afrikaans means French corner, essentially. It was founded by the French Huguenots. So Franschhoek is Foxtrot, Romeo, Alpha, November, Sierra, Charlie, Hotel, Hotel, Oscar, Echo, Kilo.
Sure.
Nice.
Perfect, thank you. I'm just going through any other questions. I'm just let you know, well, for Contiki, and I'm sure the guys can do on their Facebook group, I'll upload the recording onto the Facebook group as well, so then you can just rewatch it in your own time. And for anyone that has joined the TTC hub, which has got full of marketing collateral for you guys, I'll also upload the video there for you. So yeah, I can see a lot of people saying, please, is it recorded? We have recorded the presentation, so we'll definitely share that with you. I'm just saying, I think that's it. Is there any other questions? If you want to turn your mic on and ask any questions, the floor is yours.
Silence.
If not, I take it that means that everyone, marketing pictures has just come through from Karen. Yeah, so we do have social tiles made for you guys for the trips that we've discussed throughout today. So we'll upload them on Facebook. For anyone that signed up via an email, I'll actually send a follow-up email out. If you didn't sign up by an email, if you want to pop your email in the chat box, I can definitely pop that on the email chain. But yeah, we've got some social tiles for you with the videos that we all were going to show. I know Brian sadly didn't show his. We can also send you a downloadable link so you can download any video content as well. I know sometimes videos speak louder than pictures, and it's a great tool to be able to use on social media for advertising to your customers. And so we can definitely send you the links to the video content as well. So that's not a problem.
Goodie bags. Do we have a question?
Yes.
Oh, yeah. So for everyone that's stayed on, we've still got 82 of you. We've got 3 goodie bags to give away. Steve, do you want to ask the questions?
Absolutely. So for any of you that have stayed on, we have a couple of questions. So yes, that's correct. 3 prizes. So I believe 2 of them are goodie bags, Becky, and one of them will be
a hamper. Yeah.
So a hamper, which is pretty impressive. So of course, this is just for those of you that are in the travel trade that have joined us from the UK and Ireland. So first question is, and this will be the first person to answer in the chat. So we are keeping an eye on the chat right now as well.
Shout out if you know the answer.
Yeah, except for Ada, who can't see the chat. If you remember, the answer, sorry, not the answer. The question is, how many official languages does South Africa have?
11.
Oh, I think you got it. Congratulations. Very nice.
Wow, that was so quick.
Writing, making sure, just taking note of who got that. So that was Ada. Thank you very much.
The first prize?
That would be Ada who got it. Yeah.
Well done. See, you don't even know that. You still won.
Everyone's listening. A lot of 11s there.
After that, and we'll get you a dress.
Absolutely. So we might keep it to the chat now that Ada's got hers. And folks, our next question will be, oh, my meeting chat's
I can't use chat.
Oh, is there a few of you that can't use chat?
I can't use chat. I haven't been able to add on any messages.
Oh, okay.
Shout out if that was
technical gremlins have had a few issues.
Gremlins indeed. That's okay. Is it just the 2 of you then? Is there anyone else that can't use chat?
I can use chat, fine.
Okay. So it must just be 2 then, I'd say. Well, okay, this is where it becomes interesting because it's always hard to see who shouts out the first then on this. So, Janet, because you can't use chat, perhaps just send me an email and we'll organise something for you separately, just so we can open it up to the rest of the room who can use the chat. So just make sure you write my email address down there, stephen@southafrica.net, and we'll have a chat to you about what we can send out to you. So my second question is, how many capital cities does South Africa have?
3.
So again, we just want it on the chat, folks. So that would be Peter.
No, I can't use chat
first. So, okay. So was there another person that couldn't use chat apart from?
I think there's a few, Steve.
Okay.
I can't use chat.
As well, and Yvonne.
Okay, I did ask, but no one else answered. Okay, no problem. That's fine. So if you can't use chat, folks, maybe just send me an email quickly. So Stephen@South Africa. So that's for anyone that can't use the chat, and we'll have a bit of a chat about what we can do for you. So my third question is, what is the 3rd largest city by population on the continent of Africa? And again, that would just be in the chat, please, folks. Got it. Yes, it was indeed Johannesburg. So everyone's writing it, so I'm trying to scroll back up. Who was the first person that wrote it there? It was Kathy. Great. Kathy, if you could just pop your email address down just so we know who to contact, that'd be brilliant. And that was our 3 questions, folks. So a bit of an incentive to stay towards the end there, which is good. So just once again, for those of you that were unable to use the chat, not sure why, but as Brian said, the gremlins are out today. Make sure you send me an email and we'll have a bit of a chat about what we can do for you. For those that could use the chat and have won the 3 prizes, please just make sure you also have our email addresses so we know who you are. So you can send us details now, or Kathy, I see you've just sent yours now, which is great. Perhaps the other person as well can do the same, which you have. So that's easy. Okay, that's it from me.
Yeah, so that's it.
I think
Yeah.
on behalf of TTC from the Tourist Board, we just want to say thank you so much for your time. I know we've run over a little bit because of technical issues and so forth, but please note our contact details are still on the screen there. Any questions, any further, you know, if you want to pick our brains about anything or you want a one-to-one, we're more than happy to have a chat with you guys. So note down all of our email addresses and feel free to contact us with anything. But thank you so much for your time today, and we look forward to hopefully chatting to you all individually at different points. Yeah, that's it from me.
Keep
Thank
selling
you
South
so
Africa.
much,
Thanks,
guys.
everyone.
It's been amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Fabulous.
Thanks a lot. Goodbye.
Bye.
Bye.
Cheers, guys.
So, Steve, do I send you an email with my contact details? Oh, he's gone.
I don't know if Steve's gone, but yeah, or you can send them through to me, just Becky at Contiki, becky.francis@contiki.co.uk.
Oh, okay, we'll do, Becky. Thanks.
I'll send mine. I'll send
Yeah,
mine as well.
if you can just send an email to me, that would be so much easier, then we'll get it sorted. I'm not sure if the goodie bags might be a month away because I don't know if they're in the office, and obviously we can't work from the office, but Ada, I can send yours because you won the hamper, so that's easier from me.
Oh, thank you very much. And I've taken a screenshot of the contacts.
Brill, yeah, like